Yeah.
Thank you, Mindy.
Oh, you're welcome.
Let's give it up for Mindy. All right, this is the first time I've done a presentation in a while, so hopefully this will go well. Please bear with me if there are any technical issues. There are lots of jokes. If you cannot see the screen, I recommend getting to a place where you can see there'll be jokes on the screen. All right, as Mindy mentioned, I am Cadence Errata. My name is Rod Hoekstra. I release music under the name Cadence Errata, but usually what that means is just pop it up on SoundCloud. This evening I'm going to give a presentation on sound design, mostly focusing on free tools that should be applicable to any DAW. There will be some things that I'll be doing in Ableton. Hopefully you will be able to know enough about your own DAW in order to make that, figure out what's going on there. This presentation is going to be a PowerPoint presentation. I apologize. But I'll also be doing some live demos. That'll be the fun part. All right, first off, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my background so you know where I'm coming from, so this presentation may make a little bit more sense for you, and so when I give feedback later, then that also may make more sense. I was born in Wisconsin. And my house is actually just right beyond that ridge, right there. My sister is in from Boston. Hello, Renee. She can. This is Wisconsin. I went to college in Iowa. This is not a great picture of Iowa. It's much less hilly than this. I studied computer science there. This is not an actual photo of what studying computer science in Iowa looks like. Later, when I was in Seattle, I moved to Seattle. I got a master's degree in information systems management. But this actually is a picture of me. That's right. That's right. That is what studying information systems management looks like in Seattle. How slick is that? All right. So my music education started with 10 years of piano lessons. There's actually another picture of me right there. Yeah. Van Cliburn contest or something like that. 4 years of college choir. I am not in this photo, but as it turns out, this is actually a photo of the choir that I did sing in. And 1 semester of flute lessons. Right, you need to read the joke. Can you see the, okay, it says it's a flute, right? It says lower octave puts babies to sleep, upper octave makes grown men cry. All right, I see how this is gonna go, fantastic. My first synthesizer was a Korg M1, which if you look carefully, you can see all those hands-on knobs, great for easily tweakable parameters and no menu diving at all. Speaking of menu diving, I also had one of these. This is a Roland D110, which I want to say that recently the Bad Gear YouTube channel, this one made it to its top 10 worst synthesizers of all time, purely because of all the menu diving in order to just do anything useful. I briefly had one of these. This is a Farfisa organ, and the best thing it was really, really good at is pinching the shit out of my fingers. Those legs underneath fold out. They're permanently attached to that keyboard, and if you hold it in the wrong space and pick it up, those legs swing out, and your fingers, it's not fun. Don't do it. All right, after college, remember that was Iowa, I graduated, and then I went to South Dakota for a little while. And this is likewise a bad picture of South Dakota. There aren't that many trees there. That is true. But while there, I learned to improvise, and I played briefly and probably pretty badly in a praise and worship band, like many people do. And then after South Dakota, that is when I moved to Seattle. My first introduction to the music scene here was, that's right, giant drum circles at Folk Life. I don't know if this is an actual picture of me. I don't remember. But after noodling around to sort of like musical anarchy, I kind of got serious and studied West African percussion for about 10 years, mostly the traditional rhythms of Guinea, West Africa, a little bit from Senegal and Mali as well. And also informally, I taught these rhythms at Seattle Pacific University, which is a whole other story. Ask me another time. Anyways, my musical influences are Bach, Mendelssohn. Bach, by the way, just had 2 new pieces come out today. I know, he's been dead for centuries. They found him 30 years ago. They just recently decided, yep, they're actually by him. There's a lot of detective work. I'm very excited to listen to them. For more modern times, Philip Glass. I actually have a note here in my PowerPoint slide that says, wait for laughter from someone. Is there anyone who's laughing at the knock-knock joke? You got, okay, great. Also, Steve Reich and Simeon Ten Holt, who, if you're not familiar with, yeah, check them out. I also like psychedelic music, but I don't partake of psychedelics. I also have not had any success whatsoever in making psychedelic music. I can't imagine those are related in any way. I'm sure not related. Some artists that I really like that are, look how trippy they are. This is Ott on the left, Spongel upper right, Globular. Yeah, I'm sure none of these people are doing psychedelics either. Other random people I like, Wak Chi from Brazil. They made all their own instruments. They unfortunately are not together anymore, but amazing, amazing group. Upper right is Plaid, and lower right is Blue Tech, who is now a local Seattle artist. I'm very excited about that. In addition to learning what I can by carefully listening to the music that I do, I've also had a few people in my life who have helped guide me a great deal. And I'm not going to list all my piano and choir and flute teachers, but for music production, this is my friend Blake, who goes by Modulo Mundi. I owe a great deal to him. He is my personal mentor and has guided me a very much amount. The second most influential thing that's going on is SEMPA. I've coming here for about 3 years almost, and it is the ability to get feedback from people and hear what other people are hearing has been invaluable. So thank you to Mindy, thank you to Dave, thank you to everybody. Last person I'd like to thank is my partner, who doesn't actually like any of the music I make. But I tell you, I learned more from her. Her name is Terlin. I learned more from her than I do from all my friends who just tell me they love my music. And while that's gratifying, I know that she'll never lie to me. I'll play something for her, and she's like, no, here's why I don't like it. And that's super, super useful for me. But also, she did a lot of underground raves back in the day, so she actually knows a lot more about EDM than I do, and related genres. And speaking of genres, let's talk a little bit about the kind of music that I make, or I'll try to anyways. Electronic music genres are very varied and deeply fractured. I'm sure I don't need to tell any of you that. I don't actually know that much about them, but I've been learning more the more that I come to SEMPA, and I value that. So we'll give it a try. I write some music that is classical. I write some music that I like to think of as soundtracks for short stories that haven't been written yet. I also write music that I sort of loosely call quirky electronica, even though I'm not always sure what that means, and it just generally sort of means anything else that doesn't fall into the categories of the other stuff. We'll listen to some quirky electronica today, hopefully. All right, so my current tools, the next slide here is my very fantastic entry into, I'm sure there's like a Cribs TV version of like home studios that are amazing setups, and you're just gonna awe and what, oh. All right. Some of the Nano Leaf lights I got for free. I can't believe it. So what you're seeing here is Ableton on my desktop there. I'm running Ableton 12.2. Ableton 12.3 comes out in November 25. The computer is at least 10 years old. Sort of a ship of Theseus. Parts of it are even older than that. There's a little Novation launch key 37, which I've brought along with me and will hopefully be using today. And I should let you know that I have stretched this photo horizontally to make my monitor look way cooler than it is. It's not actually that wide. I've also got this guy, which I don't know much about, but I'm having fun with. This is a Polyend Play. For field recording, I use one of these. This is a Tascam DR40X, if you care. I use this a surprising amount. A lot of field recordings make it into my productions. And also, just last week, I picked up at Goodwill a Bontempi B2 portable organ, mini keys, 2 octaves, made in 1973. I probably overpaid at $25. It sounds like a jet engine when you turn it on. And when you turn it off, it takes a long. It's very entertaining. But my plan is to sample it and then get rid of it. So if any of you are in the market for a 1973 Bontempi B2 portable organ, I will sell it to you at cost for $25. It's a great deal. Notice, by the way, the distinct lack of studio monitors in my studio. I do everything on headphones. I don't have studio monitors. It's not the best situation, but maybe sometime along the line that will help you go, oh, that's why Cadence Errata is doing that sort of thing. He's only using headphones to mix and master. All right, so that's my background. Let's now talk about this important question. Why should you pay attention to my presentation today? You should not. Here are some reasons why you should not pay attention to my presentation today. The first is, I will not be helping you finish tracks more quickly. There are more ways in this world to make music than I can ever possibly imagine. And just because I've chosen to make music a particular way doesn't mean it's anywhere close to a good idea for you to make music the same way. I can only share the knowledge and experience I've picked up so far. I don't have any kids, so that looks like a reasonable image to me. If you can't read, it says, not right now, Mommy has her has to EQ her snare. Baby's on fire. All the people watching online, I'm sure, aren't getting any of this. I am self-taught, mostly with YouTube and a lot of trial and error in Ableton. And I've only really been a bedroom producer making music for about 4 years. There are a lot of holes in my education that I am sure I am not aware of. It took me a long time to realize how sidechaining actually worked. Like, I'd seen the videos, I'd seen the technique, I tried it, I'm like, well, yeah, okay, it seems reasonable, I understand why. And then I was watching a video of a guy doing a demo, and he was doing sidechaining, and he cranked it way up. I'm like, that's way too much. And then he hit play, and I was like, that's not way too much. I just haven't been doing it hard. I haven't been going hard enough on my sidechaining. I was, okay, so that, like, other holes might be there, so, you know, be careful if I say something weird. And finally, the best reason not to listen to me is, as Minty mentioned, I am not primarily an EDM producer. I don't really make EDM. A lot of people here do. That's great. That's awesome. I'm probably not going to help you make better house music. This is a slow burn on that one. All right, so why should you listen to me, though? Why would you want to pay attention to my presentation today? There might be a few reasons. Here's the first. I am not primarily, I am not following my slideshow correctly. Here we go. I am not primarily an EDM producer. That's a good reason to listen to. It's a good reason not to listen to me. It's a good reason to listen to me. There's the joke. I brought it home. I will be thinking about music differently than maybe you will be. I'll be noticing different things. I'll highlight different aspects. I believe strongly in the value of learning from a lot of different kinds of music and approaches to making music. I'm hopeful that tonight you can learn something from me here tonight. And if you do, let me know. That would be great. Come up to me afterwards. Tell me what you learned. Another reason to listen to me is no one is paying me to talk today. So I'm going to be straight up, just tell you tools that I like and why I like them. I'm going to demo a few of them. I'm going to give you my honest opinion. Nothing I say is going to be influenced by companies, paying me to promote their products. No company has ever asked me to promote their products. And later during the review, I'm going to be giving the same honest feedback. But even remember that when I am giving that feedback, you are your own best critic. But you do have to listen critically to your own music. I hope you incorporate ideas from everywhere. I hope you try some of the things I've tried, and then I hope you go off and explore in completely new directions. One little last bit about me. This is my philosophy of making music. I just have a short, quick, compact statement. All right, so it's probably too small to see, which is a good thing. But what this brings me to is I have digital handouts for you all. So there have been files uploaded to the Facebook group that include many of these little one bullet item talking point philosophical things, but also all sorts of links to the things I'm going to be demoing today, recommendations I have, opinions I've got, and a couple of really handy charts, including an Ableton audio flow chart that really helped me understand what was going on. Honestly, each one of these topics is probably worth an hour-long discussion on its own. Oops, what did I do here? Except that last one, it really is okay to EQ hi-hats. Yeah, that's it. That's the whole philosophy there. That was a thing that I learned early on, and later I was like, well, what happens if I do? And then I did, and I was like, I like that. All right, so instead of me just talking more, let's go to some live demos. Yeah, here's where we get to the fun part of the presentation, and the most error-prone. I'm going to show you all my secrets. There's the joke on the screen. Guys, there's a joke on the screen. This actually is where I would use my field recorder. I would field record the hell out of that and add that to a production. All right, so anyways, live demos, here we go. Things in live demos can go wrong, so please feel free to pray to your respective deities for success for this portion. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be making some glitchy stuff for ear candy and also explore some ambient music production, and then if we have enough time, hopefully try and throw it all together at the end and see what happens. For those of you who are working Ableton, I'm going to work entirely in arrangement mode. If you ask me a question about session mode, I will not be able to answer the question.
Thank you for your honesty.
Mindy, did you have a question?
I was going to say, if you are not in the group, let me know and we can arrange to make sure that you're in the Facebook group. That's where he put the files that he talked about.
Oh, hello. Yes, that's very lovely. Right, Ableton, here we go. This this microphone holder might be a little too small. Am I doing it wrong? Yeah, I swapped it out for the long one. All right, okay, so we're gonna try and do this the best we can. If while I'm up to this, Dave, if you wouldn't mind swapping that out so that I don't have to hold on to this, that would be great. And I just dripped water on my own keyboard. How awesome is that? Yeah. Great, thank you. See, things are going wrong already. It's awesome. You'll notice that I've pulled up a blank, a totally blank Ableton screen here. I got chords falling all over the place. I love it. This is great. This is how I imagined it all would go when I was preparing for, or at least in the nightmares I was having about this at night. I know. How are we doing on time, by the way? Mindy, I am 7:20. Perfect. That is exactly where I'm going to be. Tell me if I'm getting anywhere close to running over time. Great. I have 4 demos. I'm hoping each one takes about 10 minutes. If you give me 10-minute this, that, and the other, that would be awesome. If all you give me is a 10-minute thing at the end, that would be fine too.
Okay.
Yep. All right. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is a Decent Sampler. How many of you have heard of Decent Sampler? Just you. All right. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using a lot of hotkeys here, by the way, in Ableton. So if you're not following what I'm doing, that's fine. I'm just pulling up Decent Sampler here. Decent Sampler is a free sampler, and you can buy sample packs for it. but you don't need to, largely. There are a ton of really, really good free ones out there. And they have all sorts of cool stuff. Every one that you see on here I've gotten for free because they were free, not because I stole them. And now we'll get to figure out, does this actually make noise? Let's turn this up. Oh, I hear a thing. Do I hear it? I hear a thing? Yeah, so my laptop is now in the way of my phone and my keyboard. All right, we'll it's cool, it's cool. We're good, we're good. All right, these are all samples, right? Like you would expect. This is a favorite one that I've picked up recently. Another favorite one that I've picked up recently, or that I'm sorry, that I've had for quite a while, is this fantastic pipe organ sampler. This is, all of these pipes have been sampled directly from an actual pipe organ somewhere in Germany. Where that pipe organ is, I've had a really tough time finding out. I don't know. I wish I did, because I'd love to go and listen to the actual thing. But what it means is that if you just play a note, you got nothing because you have none of your organ stops turned on. Once you turn on some organ stops, okay. This really did require me to play the keyboard, so let's see if I can. Oh, is it not working? Why is it not working? Yeah, go for it. One moment. Why is this? Oh, because I put it on the wrong, look, there. Like, this is all way more subtle and you know and great when I'm not struggling with many things. It's got some great bass tones on there as well. If a pipe organ's your thing, and I do like the pipe organ, by all means check that out. If it is not your thing, look for some of these. This is Venus Theory puts out free sample packs for Decent Sampler on a fairly regular basis. He also makes paid versions that are a little bit more extensive, but his free ones are just really quite good as well. He's been doing more complicated things, so he's got, you know, different presets that you can choose. If that's not worthy of something sound design-ish related, I don't know what is.
Especially the
The
fuzzy on
fuzzy. You can also make your own sample packs for this, by the way. So I did that. How many of you had like a Yamaha PSS 170 when you were young? Yeah. Look at that. It's complete. I've got everything in here that this thing does. I just, you know, including hello demo. All right, we're going to go back to the Venus Theory stuff because that's actually useful information for us. And the very next thing I'm going to do here, before I go too far, is I'm going to put a limiter on this track. Because what we're going to do after this, things might get a little bit crazy. And we don't want to blow out anybody's ears or anybody's speakers. Yeah, that's good. That's great. Let me pick up my notes so I can remember what I was going to do next after this. Oh yeah, so here's the second cool, okay, so first cool thing, Decent Sampler and all sorts of free sample packs for it. Links for that are in the resources packet that I've put together as well. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna do something called Valhalla Freak Echo. Valhalla puts out really good reverbs. They have 3 free things. They're all worthwhile. This is one of my favorite. I'm going to pull this up. I'm going to make sure it's on the correct side of the limiter. And I'm going to actually disable it for a second. Because what I want to do here now is I'm just going to make some notes. And I don't know what these notes are going to look like. Maybe like that, and like that, and that, and just probably fine here. And once again, it would help if I were actually on the right track. And not like splitting my... there we go. How's that for volume? Is that a little bit loud? Okay, we're just going to loop that for the moment. So I'm hitting Control L. This will just loop that one measure over and over. And I'm going to show you what this freak echo thing can do. I've turned it on. Got a couple of controls. I will be honest, I don't know what all these controls do, but they do fun things. Oh yeah. Make sure you keep on recording all the way through, because these some of these things tend to last for quite a while, and turn the feedback all the way down to get rid of that. I'll have it times where I'm making things and I'm like, what happened? Just something just popped out of the background because it was still going. All right, the next thing I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna quick record some of that to audio. And the way I'm going to do that is by selecting an audio track and routing it in from there, and then I'm going to hit record. And then while I'm doing that, I'm going to start messing with this again. It will loop, and that's fine. I dig it. Oops, I should probably turn that off. There we go. Hey, silence again. Great. All right, so now what we've got is we've got audio, and it is looping, but what Ableton does here is it records multiple takes. Thank you, yes. And you can listen to those. It does if you're looping. There's that loop. There's that one. That one had some growl in it. How about like at the very end there? Let's see what we had there. I think I like the growl. Yeah, let's take that growl. All right, so we're gonna take that. We're gonna pop that out. I'm gonna put it in its own audio track somewhere like over there. Make sure we can hear that. Yeah, that sounds good. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Ableton instrument Simpler. Simpler is a sampler that's not as complex as Sampler. It's simpler. But one of the cool things it does, if I can make it, there we go on the track, is that you can drop any kind of audio into you want, and then you can slice it up yourself. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to slice it by 16th notes. And so we've got all these, cool little slices. And I'm going to slice that to a drum rack so we can play around with that a little bit better. I think I didn't want to do that. Let's try slicing to an audio. Is it still doing the slice thing? 16th. Well, hopefully I'll find out. Slice to new MIDI track. Slicing 32. That sounds good. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so now what we've got is we've got a MIDI track, and soloing just this one right now. It's the exact same thing. If you look at it, there's all these little individual notes on here, which means you could do all sorts of fun things like that. right? Okay, starting to get a little interesting. We're going to do a quick fix here a second because this is a drum track. One of the things that happened here is all these slices are in the same choke group. Everybody know what a choke group is? It means that if that only one thing can play at a time, and if something plays something else, everything else will stop. So I'm going to turn all those choke groups off. Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds like I know it doesn't sound good at all. All right. But now what we're going to do is, and again, apologize, this is an Ableton specific thing, but you get the idea. If you can use your DAW to slice down to tiny little things, then use those things to make other things. What I'm going to do in this particular case is I'm going to choose one of my random slices, and then I'm going to give that a little sort of a pattern thing. So let's... we are at the moment. We can change that. All right, let's choose another slice and let's mess around with this a little bit and maybe a little bit less density there. Yeah, that's the growl coming in here. And maybe just, what else can we do? Let's just write in a few notes ourselves. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use this other Ableton. I know I said it's all free tools. I know Ableton is not free. But again, use your imagination, figure out how you're going to do this yourself. But there's this nice handy little chop function that allows you to take an individual note and chop it into really as many thin slices as you want. So you'll note that I've turned that note into 4 notes. Oh, and of course I can barely hear it, so what seems to be the issue? No, let's move it down to another. It's probably because I got too many other notes in there. Let's just get rid of all those. Oh, okay, we heard that one though, right? Right. And there is the beginning of what you can do with that. Now, if you recall, we had this lovely thing back up here. Let's add that back in. Going to change the sound on the decent sampler. I hope everybody's following me. I don't know if I'm going too fast or too slow, but we'll figure it out. This is another free sample set by Venus Theory called Solaris. This has got a little bit more of a nice... oh, and you see how the UI changed every time? That's kind of cool too. So, oh, and don't forget, we have Freak Echo to play with. Look, it says it's recording in my previous fiddling around because I was recording to audio. You can still do whatever you want to here. Let's try to put a compressor on our drum, see if that makes any difference. And by drums, I mean... And there you go. There's our first track right there. All right. I finished with that one a little bit early. Any questions about that while I get the next one set up? Yeah, go ahead. What if it what? 100 BPM it is. I didn't hear that. Say that again. That's it. It was definitely slower. Let's try. What is this? Let's try. Can we put a swing? Do a swing. Turn this back on. Oops. There we go. Or we can make it go very slow. You get the idea. Yes.
Your ratio of purposeful choices versus happy accidents?
That is an excellent question. I don't have a great estimate for a ratio on that, but something I do strongly believe in is that you should always set aside time just to screw around and play. We call it playing music because it's playing. And I think a lot of people, myself included, it's very easy to sit down and go, well, I have this idea in mind. I want to create, I want to make this thing exactly like that. And more often that results in frustration because I'm like, I can't bang this piece of metal into the place that it should be here. And so I make sure that I do set aside time like this. I haven't been as good about it lately as I would like to. But what it means is that I'll often save. I save everything that I make, and I often will render it out to audio and just stick it on my phone and listen into my car. And some of those last a few minutes, and I'm like, that's horrible. And some of them last a couple days. I'm like, I think that's got legs. I think I can play around with that.
You don't often drive your partner then?
I drive her actually a fair amount, but I do not have the radio on. Yeah, I drive her to work, and then as soon as she gets out of the car, I turn on my music and annoy nobody. It's great.
Do you ever use any of the paid Valhalla plugins? I've heard they're pretty good, but I've never tried them.
The question is, have I ever used any paid Valhalla plugins, and they sound good? The answer is no, I haven't. I also have the same understanding. I understand they are very, very good. They just came out with a new one that's some sort of like future verb. If I pay for any of them, that one looks very tempting. And then the other one is the retro. I think it's the vintage. Yeah, so a vintage verb looks just super usable. And I'm going to be demonstrating another free. I'm going to be demonstrating this Supermassive here soon as well. All right, let's go on to the next demo. So far, my idea of just creating all of these from scratch seems to be working out pretty well so far. Let's see. Keep your fingers crossed. All right, who is familiar with the synthesizer Surge XT? Yeah, right. I like Surge as well. I don't know much about how to use it, and I don't feel bad about that because I was once reading an article about a professional musician who said the same thing. He's like, "Yeah, I don't know how to like make my own sounds and everything. But I can tweak things until I get interesting things." I'm like, there are really all sorts of different ways of making music. Some people use Splice to make their music. I do not use Splice to make music. I'm excited that you're using Splice to make music. I don't care how you make music. I think it's all great. So if you'd like to judge me for not actually like tweaking any of the knobs in Surge, by all means, go ahead. I don't care. Surge is also completely free. It is software that is displaying nicely on the screen. Excellent. It is free software, and it does cool things. And one of the things I was going to talk about today is how do I do some of the sound design. And honestly, some of the sound design I do is just because pick up a bunch of free stuff and like just noodle around and see, because all these presets here can do like some really, really, truly amazing things. Dave has a question. I don't have a Mac, so it's hard for me to say. Something that's not clear to me. Can Macs use VST3? They can. That's generally what I see stuff in. Every once in a while, I see the opposite. I see something that's made for a Mac that you cannot use on a PC, and some of those have been very drool-inducing, very much like those. All right, this is going to be a little loud, so I'm going to turn this down. Yeah, that's just a nice, lovely, lovely patch here. And because it's all like, got chords already built into these notes, it doesn't actually matter that much, really, what notes you play. Whoops, that is the wrong hotkey. I'm not sure what I'm doing there. Let's duplicate that and move those back up there, and this one maybe come down so that it just, yeah, how's that sound? Let's loop that. Oh, that's definitely not. Let's try that. That sounds like a reasonable loop. Let's duplicate that entire thing, and then we're gonna turn this into a group. And the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put another limiter on this, because once again we're gonna have a fun time if this starts hurting people's eardrums. All right. So for this one, what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna zoom in a little bit, and I'm just gonna move that over a little bit, and I'm gonna chop this little end of the measure off, or the little MIDI clip. I'm going to go back to the beginning. I'm going to put it in there, and I'm going to join that back together like that. Yeah. Let's see how that goes. Okay. Oh, and also, let's give it a different. Let's get a different place to play with. How about that one? Sounds appropriately atonal. Perfect for screwing with. Great. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add my another favorite free VST. This one is called Fracture. Oh, wait, you know about Fracture? I'm not giving you new information about Fracture? All right, well, in that case, just sit back and enjoy the ride. Fracture is one of my favorite things. Again, I don't tweak a whole lot of things in here. You don't really need to. Oh, that one goes on for a while too. Did you hear that? Yeah, there we go. Okay, we're going to do the same thing we did earlier. I'm going to record this to an audio track, and I'm just going to record that because then we're going to use that later, which hasn't worked real well in my preparations, but well, maybe it will work better this time. All right, so just get a little bit of audio going on there. It would help if I were recording on the correct track. Yeah, okay, all right. So now here's the part that just stops working every time I do it. All right, I'm gonna try and save this set so that, we're all good. Yeah, demo 5, there we go. This is not actually demo 5 for you, but it is for me. Yeah, okay, so I've saved it, and now I'm going to collect all and save. Yes, thank you. So now everything should be okay. And now I should just be able to grab this and drop it onto the desktop. No. It's not letting me do that. All right, so there's a couple ways around this. One is if I save the whole thing and then reload it up. Typically, I can get it that way, I think. Or you can go digging through the Ableton files. But in my particular case, we're just gonna use something that I made earlier. All right, so there we go. There we have the audio recorded like we did last time, and now what we're gonna do? Oh yeah, we're gonna just play around with that some more. Let's do that. Yeah. Just a couple different settings here in Fracture that you can play with. Just a few. That's probably worth recording right there. And then playing backwards. Maybe we'll try. We might come back to that one and see what else we got here. This is one of my favorite ones. Oh yeah. Oh, that's so good. And if that's not enough Demon Inside, here's one actually called Demon Inside. Ah, it's still going on. That's fantastic. All right, let's go back to this one. I think it was. Yeah, I like that one. Let's try playing around with that one. We're gonna do something similar here and get rid of this audio. It didn't do us any good. And we're going to record that, and we're gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna throw it into a simpler and then splice it up and see what we can make happen with that. Is it still going? It's still going. There we go. All right. You know what? I think that was the old one. Is that? Yeah, that was the old one still in there. That's great. That's what we want. I'm put that on its own track over here, and take that down a little bit. What else is playing? What's going on there? Nope, it's just that. All right, well, we'll work with that. Pulling back simpler up. One of the things that you can do on here is, in addition to slice it by way of beats, you can also slice it by way of transients. So it does its best to try and figure out where the beat is. This is really great if you have like something like, I don't know, the amen break that you want to slice up into your own little bits. I'm not sure anybody ever use anybody here who knows here what the amen break is. What tempo? Whatever tempo you want. Whatever tempo you want. What am I doing? What is it? 10 minutes? Oh, it is 10 minutes. Okay, so I was just going to make another drum beat out of that, but we're going to skip that, and we're going to go on, because I only have 10 minutes left. We're not going to save that. And how we're going to do this, we're going to combine these last ones into something else. Here's one of my favorite synthesizers. This is the OBXD. This is an emulation of classic Oberheim synths. I quite like this one. It turns out to give me pretty fat, nice sounds, some pretty good bass stuff that I've been using quite a bit lately. And yeah, fat, P-H-A-T, fat. Let's do, whoops, I just lost something important. Is there a control? No, so it wasn't. So what I got rid of is one of the windows, and now it's this mystical like which window is which little button on Ableton is it that brings it back? Is it this one? It's not that one. And if I close down, it is a plugin on one of the track. But what I've lost is my
Like his samples and
yeah. So hang on, it's one of these. Maybe it's nope. This is eating my time. It's eating my time. If anybody has any suggestions on the browser. Hey, there we go. Browser, what a silly name. Silly name. All right, we're gonna just do a quick. Yeah, it sounds pretty good. All right, we're just gonna make those long like that, and then we're going to loop those, and then that sounded much sort of unexpected. All right, we're gonna throw an arpeggiator on this. Is what we're gonna do, and is this right? Modular bass. I have it on the wrong. I was looking for acidic bass. Oh, there we go. That's the bass that I was talking about, right? All right, let's try looping that. I'm gonna turn that down just a little bit while I mess with some of these things here. Let's do, I don't know, how about convergence and diverge? And that is not near fast enough. That is slower. Yeah. All right, here we go. Here's the next fun thing. This is Valhalla's free reverb. So if you're thinking, maybe this Valhalla thing is pretty cool, this is their giant, I love long reverb tails. This is, for me, this is just beautiful. They have like ridiculously long things in here, which I'm about to demonstrate this massive Benson, Arizona. I do love that. I really, really do love that. Let's add billions and billions instead of this Carl Sagan. Was that a question? I didn't hear it.
No, that was a declarative statement.
Okay.
Sagan's vocal sample would go crazy as fuck. Scratch that. That's it's an exclamatory statement. Get him in there, bro.
All right, I'm going to combine these last two demos into one, so it's going to be a bit of a mishmash. Here we go. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to get this little piano sample here. It's audio sample. I'm going to stick it in like that. And I'm going to make sure it doesn't warp because I don't actually want it to warp right now. Turn the volume back up a little bit. Yeah, that's lovely. Right? It's just sort of lovely. Let's do that again over, I don't know, here. I'm going to reverse that sample too, just because I can. Yeah, who doesn't like a nice, reversed sort of thing, right? Okay, and now what I'm going to do is another favorite effect of mine, and again, all these are in your resources, but this one is called Solaris. Who's familiar with Solaris? One woo, that's good. This is fun. This is shimmer, and then more shimmer. Oh yeah, it's oh yeah. Again, you don't even need to tweak the knobs. You can just do all sorts of cool stuff. This one's one of my favorites. Isn't that great? And now what I'm going to do is we're going to stack these. So we're going to do a little twinkle. And then on the end of that, we're going to add black hole. See, this is where we're out of the glitching into the sort of ambient sort of thing. And I just, like I said, I love long reverb tails. All right, what else are we going to do with this? As it turns out, I've got some drums that I made at one point. So I'm going to go take a look for those and see if I can add in, a little bit of beat to this, see what happens. That would be a template. Yes, thank you, Rod. Well done, well done. Okay. I'm going to group these. We're going to do that side chaining thing I was telling you I was really bad about earlier. Yeah, how about that? There we go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to assign that chain to just the group that has the bass drums in it. I think those drums need just plain volume. That feels a little better, yeah? Yeah. And guess what else we can put on this group? That's right. You remember our first very good old friend, Freak Echo? Yeah. We have a complete track. I could just play this for an hour and get it on Echoes with John DiLiberto in the 80s. I'm sure that would have been the thing. I'm going to try and make an interesting sound to fade out with. We'll see how I do. Oh, and the echo is still going on. Bye-bye. Thank you very much, everyone. I realize I haven't left hardly any time for questions, but if any questions? Okay.
First, have you thought about a sexy side project called Cadence Errata?
Yeah, I have. This has nothing to do with the remix contest entry that it does it. A sexy side project. No. So cadence errata, kind of an odd word. Cadence in classical music means a sequence of chords that comes to a type of resolution, and there can be different kind of cadences. In modern parlance, we kind of think of it as just sort of like a rhythm or a beat, but it actually means a thing. And the word errata is an old word. I don't think they do this anymore, but it used to be when they print books, and then they'd be like, whoops, we made some mistakes. We're not going to reprint this whole book. So they'd print this thing at the end and say, here's a list of the mistakes we found. And that was called an errata. And so that is where my name derives from. It's a list of mistakes of chords. So yeah, maybe something erratic. I don't know. I have no idea where all of this is going. Maybe, yeah.
Well, I definitely heard erratic the first time. That was mostly joke. But can you remember the last time you had heard something where you're like a light bulb went off and you're like, oh, I can't wait to get in the studio to kind of do something about this idea?
Yeah, that definitely does happen. I think one of the most interesting times recently that happened is I was traveling in Tunisia, and I think I actually played that piece here. Like I heard this beat. It was a very, very Middle Eastern beat. It's like dum 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 dum. And I'm like, I have to do something with it, and I did. I came back. Sometimes it feels like making music is trying to hammer a French horn into existence, and all you have is a sheet of metal and one hammer. And other times it just feels like it just sort of flows out of you. And that was absolutely one of those times that I was out and done in an hour or two. There was still plenty of tweaking and polishing afterwards, but yeah, that absolutely does happen. That was a really good example of when that happened. Did you have a second? Oh, that was your second question. Go ahead.
So you dragged in a template and it just
Yeah.
Exactly do you save one of those? I know how to save project templates, but not like track templates like that.
You go to File, and you say Save Live Set as Template.
And you can just drag basically the project in as track.
Yeah, so what it does is it saves it as the same as any other Ableton project, an ALS file. But what it does is it shows up then in your user templates. These are these are some of the templates that I've got. The WAP stuff there is for West African percussion, not anything else. And lots of default templates that I've kind of gone through over time, trying to figure out what I want my opening thing to be. I've got the BBC orchestra that has all of the instruments set up and ready to go, and oh man, that takes 20 minutes to load, so we're not going to do that one. But yeah, you just save it as a template. It shows up in your templates. It gets saved in your user library. Great question.
All right, round of applause.
Thank you, everyone.